Hello and welcome to Langley High School, home of the Saxons. Even if you've had an older sibling come through the halls of Langley, you probably have many of the same questions as those walking through the doors for the first time. The purpose of this video is to share important information that every ninth grade and transfer student should know, and to answer some questions commonly asked by ninth grade students about courses. And finally, I'll share a bit of wisdom from the school counseling team. So without further ado, let's get started with some introductions. Who better to start with than your principal, Ms. Greer? You will see her around in the halls and at events, and probably won't go a day at Langley without hearing her mention the 4 C's. Care. We care about one another here at Langley. This goes for staff and students. Connect. We build connections and teach students the importance and significance of real, meaningful connections. This is a critical life skill, and we want to be sure you graduate from Langley comfortable and confident in using it. Celebrate. We all work hard at Langley, and at the end of a job well done or meaningful accomplishment, we like to celebrate and recognize our students. This means sports, clubs, competitions, visual and performing arts, and of course academics. Commence. I guess this is the ultimate reason you're here. We love working with you and seeing you grow and mature over 4 years, but then it's time for commencement, aka graduation, and for you to move on to even bigger and more exciting things. While you will see a lot of Ms. Greer, she doesn't do it all alone in administration here at Langley. Let's meet the rest of the administrative team. Here they are. Working with Ms. Greer is our Director of Student Services, Dr. Peterson. He oversees the counselors and other professional staff who work directly with and for the mental and academic wellness of students. Mr. Noto is the Director of Student Activities. Student Activities covers things like sports, clubs, and things like field trips. There are many opportunities for you to do and find something outside of just classes at Langley, and chances are that it will go through Mr. Noto's office. Everyone has an assistant principal assigned to you alphabetically by your last name. If your last name begins with the letters A through Feng, F-E-N-G, you will have Mr. Robertson as your administrator. Fia through Lee, you'll have Mr. Biernesser. Leg through Rod, Dr. Divert will be your administrator. And finally, ROJ through Z, you'll have Mr. Sykes. Chances are very good that you will have the same administrator for all 4 years here at Langley. In addition to having an administrator assigned to you, you will also have a school counselor. Let's check out who they are. The beauty of having 4 assistant principals and 8 school counselors is that 2 counselors and their students are assigned exclusively to 1 assistant principal. Yours truly, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Mantell work with Mr. Robertson. Ms. Malone and Mr. Reddy work with Mr. Biernesser. Ms. Lipton and Ms. Baldessare work with Dr. Divert, and Ms. Martinson and Ms. Morrison work with Mr. Sykes. Counselors generally keep an open door and are good folks to get to know early on in high school. We may not always be or have the answer to a question or what you're looking for, but chances are very high that we can at least point you in the right direction. There are many more people here working in front and behind the scenes to support you, and you will learn and get to know many of them early on. But for now, let's move on and introduce you to some other things about Langley. Our class and bell schedule. Here at Langley, we work on an 8-period block schedule. We have green days and gold days, although sometimes you'll hear them referred to as odd and even days. While you will have 8 class periods, the block schedule works so that you will only have 4 of them on any given day, either your odd-numbered classes or your even-numbered classes. A couple of additional notes. Every student is assigned a Langley Links period, which is why you have 7 courses but 8 class periods. All students have Langley Links during the same class period, and this year that class period is 4th period. The first day of school is a green or odd day, then gold or even, then green, then gold, then Well, you get the picture. A question that comes up when we have an unexpected school closure for a day is, does this change the green gold day schedule? No. If it snows and school is closed on February 13th, a gold day, February 14th still remains a green day should school return to normal operation that day. Okay, you heard me mention something called Langley links. Let's talk about that a bit more. As I mentioned, every student has Langley links at fourth period. While there are no plans in the works to change the period in which Langley links falls, theoretically it's possible that it could. So what is it and what happens with this period? Links is divided into two parts. The first part of links is the school's time. The second part is the student's time. During the school's time, there might be a county-wide lesson that the school board has directed schools to run, or there could be a survey, or there could be something that counselors do with regards to scheduling, academic advising, college counseling, etc. The second half of this is your time. In many instances, the students who see more success in their grades are the ones who utilize this time the most effectively. You will have the opportunity to visit up to two of your teachers during your time. Think connect from the four C's here. This could be to get extra help from your world history teacher on the lesson you missed on the Punic Wars and the fall of Carthage. It could be used to go to your teacher to review for the test with the teacher about the Punic Wars and the rise of the Roman Republic. You'll likely see some of your other peers who utilize their time wisely there too. Once a month, it can be used to earn service hours with Saxon Service. It can be used for group meetings as well. How you choose to utilize it is up to you. We just urge that you use it wisely. Now that we've talked about the daily schedule and links, let's briefly look at the real reason you're here. Let's look at the high school diploma requirements. The high school diploma. A separate video describing the high school diploma and requirements in depth will be posted alongside this one, but I'll hit the highlights here. In Virginia, we have two diploma types, the standard diploma and the advanced studies diploma. Both diploma types are full high school diplomas, with a few significant differences. Perhaps the most significant is the requirement of a world language to earn the advanced studies diploma. You will need 3 credits of one language or 2 credits of a language plus 2 credits of another language to meet this requirement. The standard diploma has no world language requirement. Another notable difference is in the core areas of math, science, and social studies. For the advanced studies diploma, you will need 4 credits in each of these core areas. For the standard diploma, you only need 3 credits in each core area. For those of you who enjoy English, good news. Everyone takes 4 credits in English, regardless of your diploma type. Again, there will be a separate video posted that will go deep into the nuts and bolts of both diploma types. So let's move on to some of what those credits are in ninth grade. Here is what a typical course request list looks like for a ninth grade student. You'll be taking English 9, World History 1, Biology for your science, whatever level math at which you are working, Health and PE, where you will also earn your CPR, AED, and first aid certificate required for graduation, a world language for those of you pursuing the Advanced Studies diploma, and an elective of your choice. We'll talk about some in a bit. Note that you see 7 courses here. We'll add the 8th, Langley Links, for you. Here is a bit different look of just the core courses. You'll note that you have options that include either standard or honors level offerings. Please select wisely. Talk with your current teachers in the subjects, your school counselor, and your parents for advice. This is not a time to follow what your friends are doing or advising you to do. You do you. You may want to take or continue taking a world language. At Langley, we are fortunate enough to have 5 world language offerings in our building and several others offered at academy sites. although this would require riding a shuttle to the Academy site. Here are the 5 world languages offered in-house at Langley. All right, let's move on to some of our very diverse and exciting elective offerings.
Electives open to ninth grade students. Before talking about these, one thing to note with electives is that ninth grade students are a bit limited in the number of elective offerings. But don't sweat it, that changes quickly as you move into the higher grade levels. Here are 4 electives offered to freshmen by the English and Social Studies departments. A couple of things to note. Film study is more than just watching a movie. It is critically analyzing it from character development to set design to lighting, special effects, you name it. Debate and forensics is a great class. Although keep in mind that forensics is learning skills to speak effectively and convincingly and has nothing to do with CSI. Saxon Scope is our school magazine and is put together and published by our journalism classes. If you're looking for an area for leadership opportunities in high school, beginning with a class like journalism and sticking with it through high school will afford you some solid opportunities in junior and senior year. Political science and current affairs is an outstanding course in which the name pretty much explains the content. With this elective, you're likely to be in a class comprised mostly of upper grade students, something to keep in mind if that is a consideration for you.
Okay, if you are a performing arts person, you are definitely coming into a great program and community to grow and share your talents, as well as likely be a part of some award winning productions and concerts. The performing arts are a great way to get involved quickly at Langley and perhaps find your niche. Broadcast journalism is kind of the outlier here and can just as easily be placed with the humanities electives on the previous slide. If you did the morning show at your middle school, this is quite a bit the same at Langley. Your work and broadcast will be on air for the whole school to kick off Langley Links. Just as amazing as our performing arts is our visual arts program. Whether you are a budding Mary Cassatt or just looking to move past stick figure drawing, we have a home for you in the visual arts. Studio art is what I refer to as the flat art, two-dimensional. Think drawing, etching, painting, things like that. Digital design is computer graphics. Photography is self-explanatory, although because you've grown up in the digital camera generation, you might never have experienced film photography in developing film and pictures. You will in this class. Photojournalism is our yearbook creation and production team. This might also be a consideration for those of you who are business and marketing inclined too. Our yearbook program is wholly self-supported, meaning that you'll see and learn how the business side of publishing works too. 3D studio art is what I refer to as art that you build. Perhaps the most well-known part of this course is working with clay. Never thrown on a wheel before? You'll learn in this class. Career and technology education electives. You're going to hear the term CTE when elective classes are discussed, and this is short for Career and Technology Education. Do you like to code? How about have an interest in business or marketing? Is STEM your thing, leading into engineering, architecture, interior design, and things like that? Or are you just looking to learn the ins and outs of your computer and what it can do? Our CTE department has a class for you. Talk with your counselor about a good class fit for you. Before we move on from electives, it is worth mentioning that short videos produced by teachers of elective courses can be found on the Langley Academic Advising website, and it is strongly encouraged that you check them out for information about the courses that interest you. So as you begin selecting courses, here's a question that will pop up for a lot of you. Should I take honors classes? Good question. This is a great discussion to have with your current teacher in the subjects you are considering this. He or she will have the best insight and recommendation. It is strongly urged that you do not overreach by telling yourself, well, I know I haven't been applying myself as much as I should, but next year in high school, I'll be much better with it. Get much better with it first, then make your move to honors. Important message here. Starting now and in the course of your time at Langley, you are likely to hear a lot of chatter from peers about how you need to take this or that course, or you need to take X number of honors or AP courses in particular years in high school. A word of advice from your Langley counselors who have about 90 years combined experience doing this. Play to your strengths and don't overreach. Keep it real. And you're getting a pretty good idea now as eighth graders knowing what real is for you. Here are a few things to ask yourself if you're considering an honors level course or courses. Some of you are likely aware that honors level courses include something additional with them. With the added rigor comes a slight boost to the course's calculation in your overall grade point average, or GPA. Picture me waving a red flag here. A course that carries extra weight in a GPA calculation is not a reason in and of itself to take a course at the honors level. Do not get caught up in what I refer to as the academic arms race. The high school experience is about working at a level that, yes, challenges you, but also does not stress you out so much that you can barely function. One thing that we have asked our ninth grade students in the past is, when does the college application process start? Answers largely range from the middle of junior year, to the summer between junior and senior year, to the fall of senior year. The reality is that the college application process begins with the courses you select for ninth grade and the grades you earn in those courses beginning on your first day of high school. Some of you will be bringing credits and grades with you for high school coursework that you've done in middle school. These grades, as well as the grades you begin earning when school starts in August, will be on your transcript, which is by far the most important piece of information considered by a college admissions committee. This isn't said to alarm or scare you, but rather to inform you that, hey, now it begins to count. Do you have a grade in a high school course that you took in middle school that you wish was not on your transcript? You might want to consider removing it from your transcript through a process called expunging the grade. Talk with your parents and counselor about the ramifications of this. You have until the end of first quarter of your ninth grade year to make such a move. Considerations like retaking a course or taking a course in summer school should involve consulting with your counselor as well. All this talk about honors level courses and benefits of taking them and performing well might have some of you raring to go. I don't want to dampen that enthusiasm, but this is a good time to bring up Langley's course change policy. It is very important to get your course selections right early on, preferably when you meet with your counselor, because changing them after administration goes to do staffing in March isn't as easy as simply telling your counselor that you've changed your mind, a class isn't what you thought it was, you're overwhelmed by having too many honors classes, etc. I'll give you a moment to briefly check out the policy. If you save or screenshot 2 slides from this presentation, this should be one of them. Here is the second slide you might want to save or screenshot. It is the timeline of what's coming from January to March. One thing that we strongly urge you to check out are the academic advising videos. If you found this video, you're looking in the right spot on our academic advising webpage. The curriculum and elective course videos are gold and give overviews of courses by the teachers who teach those courses. Take a moment to check out and jot down key dates or screenshot this slide.
Phew. Okay, I know this has been a lot, but we'd be remiss if we didn't offer a bit of important advice about getting a successful start in high school. Such a big part of it is balance, and there are 4 areas where you can focus on in order to maintain overall balance. The first area covers much of what we just talked about, choosing the right courses for you. You want to challenge yourself, sure, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself. Secondly, there are a lot of things to do at Langley that aren't in the classroom. check around to see what's here. For many of you more extroverted personalities, you might dive in on the first day. That's great. For those of you who I refer to as my kindred spirit introverts, your approach might be to simply get yourself settled and situated over the first few months, look around to see what's out there, and then maybe check something out well into the school year. That's perfectly fine too. However, you get acclimated to your new school is fine. And if you feel yourself struggling with this, like you want to get involved but you can't get yourself to go, we're glad to help out with that too. The third area is making healthy choices. Things like diet, sleep, and organization do a lot to help your overall balance and well being. What we eat really does affect so much about us and our mindset. And don't laugh when you hear this, but did you know that the recommended amount of sleep for a teenager is between 9 and 10 hours? No, not per week, per night. I'm just throwing that out there for information purposes. But in all seriousness, sleep is so important to our overall balance. Do what you can to get as close as you can to the recommended amount. Organization. This is a skill and one that can be learned, and it is helpful in maintaining your overall balance. And finally, using resources to develop routines and good academic habits. A key thing to remember in maintaining overall balance is that you have a lot of resources out there for you. Your teachers, your parents, your counselors, mental wellness professionals here at school, coaches, we're all here for you and want to see you succeed to the best of your abilities. All right, the keys are now in your hands. You got this. And if any questions come up, remember that we are here to help you.
Well, that's a wrap of the overview to what is a large and comprehensive process. On behalf of all of us, teachers, administration, support staff, and counselors, we are looking forward to welcoming you in person to Saxon Country and you being a part of our community for the next 4 years. Hail Saxons!